Hello everyone, Disciple here with Hearthstone Curios. Now, Hearthstone has a lot of awesome mechanics, and it seems like we're getting some pretty sweet new ones in pretty much every set. Still though, there are definitely some mechanics that are favorites, like Discover, and some that people really can't get around to enjoying, like Joust or RNG. That's why today we thought we'd take a look at some of our favorite mechanics, specifically looking at ones that make the game a lot more fun and are well suited to competitive play as well. So let's get right into it. First up, it's the Tri-Class Cards mechanic from Mean Streets of Gadgetzan. In Mean Streets, Tri-Class cards generally just have their faction's keyword ability, but in the future they could end up solving a pretty big problem that we actually see in Hearthstone. For a really long time, Blizzard has had the problem of minions that would be awesome in a couple of different classes, but would be really broken in a specific class. They can't really print it as a neutral minion since it would break a class, but giving it to just one means that a few other classes are going to lose out. With Tri-Class cards opening up design space for minions and even spells and weapons that are shared by multiple classes, Blizzard is allowing for a wider variety of decks and more interesting deck building. At the end of the day, you having more options when building your deck and Blizzard having more options when designing cards are both really good things, and that's why Tri-Class cards are a pretty awesome mechanic. Next up, let's talk about secrets. When developing Hearthstone, Blizzard wisely decided to not let opponents do a lot during your turn to interact with you, which both made the games go a lot faster and to let you feel a lot more safe in your own game plan and secure as a player when taking your turns. Secrets are one of the only things you can do to interact with your opponent during their turn, and they definitely help keep the gameplay from getting too stale. Additionally, secrets are hidden information, making them awesome for upping skill levels and promoting good decision making by trying to play around what you know. Unfortunately, sometimes only one secret from a class is playable in a given meta, making it pretty easy to guess, but when things like Secret Paladin or Secret Hunter get played, the secret mind games can often be the deciding factor in games. A lot of cards that interact with secrets like Kazan Mystic or Mad Scientist have added a little bit of depth to gameplay and deck building, and that, along with the mind games and interacting with your opponent on their turn, makes secrets one of Hearthstone's coolest mechanics. Even though Secret Paladin wasn't one of the favorite decks of all time since it was a little bit too strong, the actual part of it with the secrets was really cool in trying to plan out how you would attack and how you would maneuver around a turn so that you could remove your enemy's board as efficiently as possible, and that's something we'd love to see more in the future. Moving on, let's take a look at cards that affect your hero power. A class's hero power was originally one of the most constant things in the game, and there was really no way to alter it at all, and that's why cards like Finley, Sideshow Spell Eater, and others are just so cool. A lot of classes have very different interactions with foreign hero powers, and changing your hero power in the middle of a game, especially with something like Sir Finley Murgleton, adds an entirely new level of complexity. Not only is changing your hero power a good mechanic for high-level gameplay, but it's also just really fun. It's a lot more fun to have Major Domo die and use the Ragnaros hero power for a turn than it is to use the same hero power you've played the last 800 ladder games with, and being able to change up each and every game with something like Finley to life tap some games or use lesser heal or armor up in others is also really interesting. All of that together makes changing your hero power pretty awesome and a very valuable mechanic. And all of the potential in the future to either upgrade or change your hero power means that we can really structure some interesting decks that play for a long game or can play differently than that class usually tends to. Next up, let's talk about Discover. Now, there's probably very few people in the game that hate the Discover mechanic, and that's for a pretty good reason. Having more options almost always leads to increasing the skill cap and making the game more competitive, and it also does reduce RNG since, although you can get lucky in getting one card or not getting another, having 3 options is way better than just putting a random card into your hand. Plus, it's just a lot more fun to be able to choose. Getting to see what your options are from something like Raven Idol discovering a spell is a lot cooler and a lot more fun than just waiting to see the random spell you get off of Babbling Book, and it also helps you feel a lot more in control of the game than if the card was randomly selected. We'd love to see the discover mechanic on as many cards as we could, and the design space is pretty much unlimited, especially for the types of things you can discover, since you can discover cards of specific types or mana costs, hero powers, and somewhere down the line maybe even death rattles, battle cries, or more things from your opponent's deck like we've seen. Last but definitely not least, let's look at Highlander style effects like Reno Jackson. It's really cool to see cards that essentially promote you to build a worse deck than is optimal, but for a much higher payoff than a standard card. With only 30 cards to build a deck, and a lot of those cards being duplicates, Hearthstone deck building can feel really stale at times, especially if you only have 15 different cards in a deck. Adding cards that encourage different kinds of deck building is really sweet, and Reno type decks often let you play with really powerful cards as well, since they come at a pretty steep deck building cost. Overall, Highlander effects are really awesome since they make for more powerful games, encourage more interesting deck building, but are also balanced because of the drawback of having less consistent draws, meaning that the chance of you having any one card is going to be basically half of what it would be if you were playing a duplicate. That's why Highlander effects are our favorite mechanic in Hearthstone, and also one that we really hope doesn't die out with the rotation of Reno, since Kazakus and the like might not be as strong enough to see play without Reno Jackson in the format. One thing that we might see are more cards like Kazakus that instead of just providing you with healing, provide you with a wide amount of value so that you could put in more healing cards into your deck. And a deck like Reno Priest could play their greater healing potion and then a lot of value cards so that when they do need that Reno-like effect, they've got the card in their deck. Anyway, those are 5 mechanics that we like the most in Hearthstone right now, but I'm curious to know what your favorite is. Let us know in the comments below. Well, that's gonna be it for me today. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.